The CX-70 is a brand new model for Mazda for 2025. Now it follows up the CX-90 from last year for 2024, but how did they come up with it so quickly? And how did they just announce it earlier this year? And now I already have it right here that I'm driving. Things don't turn around that quick unless they already had it, which they did with this one. They already had it. It's the CX-90. They just took the third row out. So this is a 2-row CX-90. Now, a lot of manufacturers do that. They do have a model and that's a 3-row, and then they have a model that's a 2-row. Usually they have different names, just like this one does. Sometimes they're styled very identical, but they usually make them shorter. They make them about 6 inches shorter, take the third row out. Not this one. They took the third row out of the CX-90 and said, boom, there's your CX-70. So pretty much the same thing, same motor choices, but there is a few little differences, and we're going to talk about those, and then I'll tell you about your engine options. So one thing that I do love, I love the fronts of Mazdas. They just look sporty, they look aggressive, and they look at you and just are like, hey Jim, let's go for a ride. All right, so what's different between the CX-70 and the CX-90? Well, here in the CX-70, we have darkened all of this. You've got a black grille, you've got some black chrome going around the outside. All of these trim pieces are black, where you had a lot of chrome accents on the CX-90. Now, I did review the CX-90, so there is that review on the channel if you want to go check out and see if you notice any more differences. They did give new wheels for the CX-70, so those are different than the CX-90, and then I am going to show you the missing third row before I get into all the cargo specs. So just kind of show you real quick. You can see there are the cup holders for the third row back here, but obviously there is no third row. Lift that up, just some tire stuff back here. So, all right, those are your differences between the two. You got, like I said, a little bit darker styling back here. Everything's more blacked out and not so much chrome. Even the Mazda on the side of the doors, this trim piece is in black chrome, which actually looks excellent. I'm glad they did this. It does make it look a little bit different. But man, the front end of this thing, it is so awesome. All right, let's hear about some of your engine options, which are basically the exact same ones as the CX-90, but you should get a little bit better performance out of it because you are a little bit lighter. You have the original 3.3 liter turbo inline six. It's going to give you about 280 horsepower or so. Now the next option is this one that we have right here. This is a 3.3 liter turbo inline six S with a mild hybrid system. Gives you 340 horsepower plus 369 pound-feet of torque. Now you do have an 8-speed automatic transmission, and they're saying 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. Seems about right. You might be able to get just a little bit quicker than that. Your fuel economy on this Turbo S is 23 in the city, 28 on the highway for an average of 25 miles per gallon. But wait right there before you leave and skip on. Make sure that you watch the real world mile per gallon tests. They'll be up in a few days. The numbers were vastly different. Huge difference in this. So make sure you watch that. It's not something that you want to miss. Now let's take a look at the cargo space in this CX-70, because with that third row not there, you're gonna get 40 cubic feet of space back here. It is really, really big. A lot of room, a lot of stuff can get in here. Very impressed with that. Also in the back, you have a 120 volt plug right there. And then you also have another outlet right there, 12 volt outlet. And over here, you do have powered second row. So you can just press the button, drop it, press it, and drop it. And the downfall to that is they aren't power back up. You do have to go push those back up. So that's just about it back here. You do have a couple things for your grocery bags here on each side. And then, like I showed you earlier, underneath here, you just kind of have a tire kit, maybe a little bit of extra storage right there, but nothing to write home about. It does also look that you can get an optional cover for back here, so that might be a little beneficial. And then you do have some tie down straps back here. That's pretty cool. All right, and here are vents for back here. All right, that is your cargo space. It's going to take me a minute or so just to flip these seats up, but while I'm doing that, why don't you go down and hit that subscribe button. It helps me get more cars like this CX-70 to bring to you guys, to show you the insides, the outsides, everything that's going on in these vehicles, and sometimes the good things and the bad things. Hit that subscribe button and I'll catch you on the inside. There you can see on the door panel, we've got this nice tan, and this is kind of an Alcantara type material, kind of a suede material. It does have a little bit of wood grain going across here. You got room for a couple bottles down there, and all of your window controls and your mirror controls. Come across here, you do have powered seats with lumbar. These seats are very comfortable. We did that 2-hour drive earlier in the week and had no problems with comfortability. Okay, here is another look at those seats. Really, really nice. Like I said, they are very comfortable. They were comfortable in the CX-90 also. Mazda does a good job with their seats. Coming across, you do see the little speaker up in there, and that is for the Bose system in here, which is pretty good. I haven't had any problems with it, but I know others have made statements that it could be better. Now going across here, now this is just kind of a soft padded area, you know, and then right here is more of that Alcantara that runs all the way across here. It looks really nice. The stitching looks really good. I don't really feel that it's necessary to put this in here. I think they could have just done something like this and would have been fine. The color of this is not my favorite. I would like this to be a little bit darker brown or a lighter color. Maybe like an ivory or something like that. Glove box, very, very large glove box. Plenty of room for anything that you would need in there. Come across, there is that very large infotainment screen that Mazda has now. And then we have our digital driver's display. Now, let's take a quick look at this one. It is powered, so that's nice that the steering wheel is powered, so we can move this in a little bit. What we've got going on here is you're showing your driver's assistance there in the middle. On this side, you have your tachometer, and on this other side, let me see if I can brighten this up. Nope. And on the other side over here, you have your temperature, your fuel tank, and then your fuel efficiency right there. You can toggle through a few things over here, not a lot. There's kind of your active sense status, kind of let you know that all the sensors are working. There is your compass. You can shut it off. Then you have your information. That's really all you have going on down here. So let's switch to the drive modes and see what if we got to change. There is sport. And oh, you get a little bit of red gauges going on there. That is pretty cool. And then we go to off-road. And let's see if there's much difference there. No, not really. And that's pretty much it. You got normal, sport, and off-road. One thing I did notice that if you shut your cruise off, your adaptive cruise, then you get these gauges, which tachometer, speedometer, and then your fuel and temperature gauge and your efficiency right there. So you can use those, but once you turn on the adaptive cruise, then it goes to this. You see down the bottom, we got about 430 miles remaining, and this is on basically a full tank of gas. And then your trip on this side, which so far This has 1,985 miles on it. See, it's about 77 degrees outside, so a very nice day today. Move back to the steering wheel. Steering wheel is pretty much the exact same as most of their other vehicles. Why change something that works? So all of your driver assistance features are on this side over here, and then on this side you have your radio and your voice recognition controls on this side, and your info button will control what's up in your driver's display. Now, what I always liked about Mazdas is you can still see the stocks here. So like sitting here, you're looking at my view basically, a little bit farther back though, but you can see everything that's on this one right here. And you can pretty much see all that's on this one right here without having to turn and look at it. So looking straight ahead, I can see my driver's display. I can see both of my stocks and what's on there. I don't have to hunt for them. Perfect placement on these Mazda. You do have a few buttons down here, which has got your memory seating and your lift gate open, your i-stop off, and then you have traction control and parking sensors. All right, let's move over to this infotainment screen. This is very, very large. I really do like this screen. Now, people still complain a lot about it not being touchscreen. But the thing is, when you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto hooked up to it and you're using those, in those modes, it is touchscreen also. It's just not touchscreen right here, which is not a big deal. You do have this dial back here. I have gotten used to this dial. It doesn't take long to get used to it. And you just scroll through and select whatever you want to select. You can change lots of things in here. You've got your displays that you can change, and it's just a push over, makes everything go back. Your sound settings, safety settings, vehicle settings. Go in here. This is where you can change your paddle shifters, your doors, all of your lighting, your rain sensing wipers. Automatically fold the mirrors, that type of stuff. Your turn signal. This is one car that you can change the volume of your turn signals. It doesn't really change it that much. It's not, I don't think it's really worth messing with. And then all of these things are really nice. So you got all that stuff to change, and then you can go down here and you got connectivity, you got Alexa, driver personalization.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I know you don't know that. I wasn't talking to you. Anyway, and system settings, go in here and then you can change your clock, all of that stuff, your home region, everything. So it's a really simple system to use, and I have not had any problems with it. You go up to information. This is where you can actually watch your fuel. So you can see 28.5 is what we're currently getting. We're kind of sitting here idling and stuff like that. You can see your current drive information. And I think that's it there. Energy flow monitor. So now you can see when your hybrid boost is on and that type of thing. So it's just a little information there. Not a huge amount. We'll move on back. You do have your climate control buttons back here, so you have auto and all of those temperatures there. You do have heated steering and heated and ventilated seats in this one. And then you also have your rear control over here and both your heating and ventilation for your passenger. Down here, you have a 12-volt plug right here. You have a wireless charging pad right here. This is your drive. This is your drive modes right here that we went through. And then you come back and you have this shifter. You can see right here that park is over here. So you have to, it's weird. So right now it's in reverse and you got drive and neutral, and it's sitting at an angle. That's how you know you're in gear. And you go up and you go to park, you have to push it back over. I've already once went like this, threw it up here thinking I had it in park, and let off the brake and was going to just sit there for a second, and it started rolling backwards on me. Now there is a fail safe on this. If you put it in reverse and you try to jump out of the car real quick, when you open the door, it will automatically put it in park. So there is a little safety measure right there. Hill descent control, and here are your camera views. So you have a bird's eye view, 360 bird's eye view, and then you also have these views for your rear. So that's your normal, and then you have this one, which is a little bit wider view, and then there is a little bit of a switch of things. Oh, there we go. Now you can see down the sides of your car on that one, and then back to your reverse. So, all right. That is all your camera angles. Moving back, you do have 2 cup holders also here, and here is that dial that I was just using to go through everything. Like I said, you only need it when you are parked. You do also have quick buttons here for navigation, music, your back button here, and your home button. Here you have electronic parking brake, auto hold, your favorites button, and then your volume and track adjustment, which I really like this being here because it's easy for me to drive and just reach over and turn it up, turn it down, hit it, push it down to mute, everything. It just works really, really well. This wood grain in here is really nice. I mean, it's plastic, it's not, real wood, but it looks so much better. It looks classier, and I really like it above, your piano black. Hopefully people are starting to get away from that. Now, I liked it to some extent. If it had a little bit, it was okay because it just made it look a little classier in the cabin. But the problem was people were using it too much, and there was just fingerprints and dust everywhere, and it ended up making it not look so great. So this is a nice upgrade and nice change. Mazda is really doing a great job with their interiors. This is really a nice center armrest, really comfortable. The split design is one of my favorites because I can just open this and get whatever I need to out of here, and you don't have to open both sides if you don't want to. Not a very big area. You can see I got a case for my glasses, and then I've got the keys in my work badge and things like that. So there's not a whole lot of room in there, but it is a very comfortable resting place for my elbow. This does also come with a dual sunroof, so passengers do get to enjoy the outside also, get a little more light in here. And you do have a sunglass holder. Some cars, for whatever reason, don't have sunglass holders, and I don't understand why you wouldn't have sunglass holders. Pretty much everyone wears sunglasses at some time or another. All right, so that is the front, and it's basically the same as the CX-90, but I really do like the way that it looks and the way that it's set up. Now, like I said, the Alcantara part of this really is not a big deal for me. It almost feels like it's kind of out of place in here because it's just like one little section, and I mean, there's some on the door panels too, but I just don't think it's in the best area. In fact, I think it's going to get damaged and dirty real easy, and I showed you just a minute ago, this has less than 2,000 miles on it. And I'm not the first person that's had this car. There's been several others, but I want to show you something that's happened already. I don't know. Can you see that this is kind of dirty right here? There's some black marks right here, and it's not right. They've tried to clean it, it looks like. Yeah, so I don't know how well that's going to hold up, and it's not something that I would prefer here. Okay, so let's go hop in the back. We'll check out the space back there. I'm 6 foot tall, see how I fit, and then we're going to take this out for a drive. Okay, we're going to get in the back, but one thing I wanted to show you is how far this door opens. It opens almost a full 90 degrees. This space is massively huge and easy to get into. Okay, so like I said, I am 6 foot tall. The driver's seat is in my driving position, and I am comfortable and have plenty of room. I have a couple inches, maybe 1.5 inches there in front of me right here, and headroom. I've got about 2 inches of headroom back here, so that is good. Other than that, I feel pretty comfortable back here. The seats do have a little bit of bolstering in them, So that makes me feel like I'm kind of planted in the seat here. Now I'm going to show you what's going on back here, and then we'll hear about some pricing. I just wanted to show you again how far that door is open. Like I said, it's almost 90 degrees. It's amazing how they did that. All right, we're gonna come in here, and we do still have the Alcantara going on here in the back. So they did carry that through to the back, which doesn't happen a lot. Do have some more of this kind of fake wood look here, but it does look nice. You do have the screen here for the window, so that's good. And then there's your seat. You can recline these seats back a little bit, not a whole lot, but that is an option. All right, in here, you do have your own climate control back here, which also has 2 USB-Cs, and you have heated seats in this second row on the Premium Plus trim. Bose speakers in the door, do have a light up above your head. These seats also do recline a little bit, not a lot, but a decent amount to make yourself comfortable on a long trip. And then you also can slide these forward and backward if you need to. So if you need more space in that cargo area and you have some smaller kids or shorter people up here, you can pull that in a little bit tighter, scoot yourself up a little bit more, and you'll have plenty of room in the back for all of your luggage. Okay, let's hear about the pricing on this CX-70. So pricing on the CX-70, you're looking at the 3.3 liter turbo preferred, which is the base model, starting at $40,455. Now you move up to the Turbo S Premium Plus, which is what this one is. It's going to start at $55,950. And as tested, as this one sits, with the options and the destination fee, this one comes in right at $57,775. One thing that I have already not liked about this, and maybe it's because it's an early production car or a pre-production car, when you're driving low and it's slow, maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour, it feels a little clunky. So you have an electric drive motor wedged between the motor and the transmission to take up the lack of the turbo lag, or the take up the amount of turbo lag in between that gap to fill that. So you get an instant takeoff. But it feels a little mechanical, like you're pressing on the gas, but you can kind of hear it going around, and it just doesn't feel like it's just smooth. And the other thing is it makes the brakes super touchy. So I think they are trying to use some regen along with friction brakes. So when you touch that brake, it just like wants to jerk you. If you're going a little bit and I hit it, you can see I'm barely touching it, and it just feels like I'm lurching. Geez, it's like feels like I'm slamming on the brakes. My wife has driven it, and she had the same feeling, is that it felt odd and mechanically driven at low speed. Now, high speed, everything was fine. Braking was fine at higher speeds, but that and the braking was like, made it feel really touchy, and we were jerking around all the time. So that's something they probably need to work on, probably need to iron that out, and I'm sure it will be ironed out and taken care of by the time production starts. I don't know if that is also a similar problem they're having in the CX-90s, because I had the plug-in hybrid, so it ran on electric, drive motors and everything on that one. So this is the first time I've had the mild hybrid. Okay, let's get out here. We'll do a 0 to 60, and I'll show you that this is a very good, very drivable car. The low speed thing just kind of feels a little weird. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, there was 60. I don't know about the sound of that. Wow. Huh. There was some vibration and some weird noises going on there. Let's try that one more time and see if we hear the same thing. Let's try that one more time. So a lot of whine in there. Yeah, you can hear that whining, and that's that electric drive motor. Wow, it does not sound great. Well, I don't know. Maybe some people like it, but I don't know about that. So, but how many times are you under hard acceleration? You know, I can accelerate normal. Sounds fine. Sounds absolutely fine. If I get down to, let's say, I'm going to slow down to 30 miles an hour, and I'm going to accelerate up to 60. Sounds perfectly fine, normal, and actually sounds really good. So it's only when you're hammering it that you really get that loud noise with the whining of the electric drive motor. So yeah, and you don't do that very often. It's not a normal thing to be stomping on it all the time. Sometimes it's a little fun though. Okay, so moving on. Seat comfort in here is excellent, feels great. I've been comfortable driving this car all the time, and Mazda is one of our favorites. We are a little biased on Mazda just because we've owned Mazdas in the past. My wife has owned two Mazda 6s, a 2013 a 2006 with the big spoiler on the back. And a 2014 after the new body style. So we are just a little biased on Mazdas because we really do like them. And just accelerating to pass somebody, that was very easy to do, and it sounded very, very good. So everything in here is laid out really well. You can see everything, you can reach everything, you can change everything, touch everything. The screen is fine. Like right now, it is a touch screen while you're in Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The driving dynamics of this car is excellent. The cornering ability is very good. Mazda does a really good job with that. They always make a good driver's vehicle. Steering is tight. I don't know some people like tight steering, some people like the steering to be a little bit looser. I like to have a tight, sporty feel, and there's not a lot of wobble. There's a decent amount, but I think it's a lot better than most vehicles this size. This thing is actually very large. I remember the CX-90, even with third row. I'm 6 foot, and I fit in the third row decently, and without having this third row back there, that takes some of the weight away, so you don't get as much wobble back and forth when you're cornering and stuff like that. Do I feel like I'm driving a sports car? No, I don't really feel like I'm driving a sports car. I feel like I'm driving an SUV, but it drives smaller than what it actually is. You do feel like you're driving a smaller SUV. Driver assistance on here is pretty good. I did have an instance where the lines broke up and there was a turn lane, and it did jerk me into the turn lane, and I had to fight it and push it back. That was when it was doing the lane centering. It's normal lane keep assist. It alerts you and will kind of help push you back in your lane to make sure you don't go out of it. That system works fairly well. I didn't have much problem with the lane centering, except for when we did have a turn lane and it wasn't sure what to do with it. But other systems do that same thing. That's why you always have to be paying attention to what you're doing when you're driving. Price-wise, now the price on this is basically about the same as the CX-90. There's really not a whole lot of difference. So you just have to decide whether you want the third row or not. Me personally, I don't need the third row, so I wouldn't choose the third row. But in everybody's thinking, and my thinking is that if there's no third row, then that should be cheaper. It is just, like I said, odd that they left it the same size. Normally, you take the third row out and you cut it off by 6 inches, make it just a little bit smaller. That's a choice that they made, a decision that they made, and I bet you it was a cost-saving measure because they can produce these right along the same line as the CX-90s. They basically just put different badge on them and they put a different back in there. No seats, and they just put the cover down. Everything else is the same. It's still not terrible at $57,000 for this decked out. Now you are going to pay a little bit more for the plug-in hybrid edition. I think it's going to be about another $5,000 on top of the price of this one. So you do have that option, but you do lose a little bit of horsepower, and your engine goes from a 3.3 liter turbo down to a 2.5 liter turbo with the electric drive motors, which give you another 140 horsepower. So you end up with about 323 horsepower total, but your torque is basically the same. Okay, that is all I've got for you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any more of these videos, and hit the like button if you enjoyed it, because that kind of helps me and helps the algorithm, and kind of helps spread me around and helps me get more cars just like this one, just like subscribing does. It all works together to help each other, so I can bring the cars to you. And then click on one of the videos that's on the screen right now. One of them is one that I chose for you that I think you're going to enjoy. The other one YouTube chose for you. I think you're going to enjoy both of them. So I will see you in the next one.